Hello, Apologetics Friday. We are talking about the resurrection of Jesus. And last week, we were talking about the skeptics claiming that the disciples went to the wrong tomb. But I think we have to make a little digression. And what we should talk about is the death of the disciples, how they died, what sort of death they died. Because out of the 12 disciples, 11 died the death of a martyr. And it's really important because although there are, and I think this is one of the best evidence, the death of the disciples and their conviction. Because if you think about the death of a martyr or the kamikazes, you can say that, fine, so you need an extremely deep conviction to sacrifice your life for a cause. And it's true, and people have done it. But what makes the disciple special or unique in that sense is that they claimed that they saw the risen Christ. They met him, they spoke to him, they ate with him, he gave them instructions. And that's what they claimed. So it wasn't like some arbitrary thing or somebody told them that, yeah, if you die, in the next life, you're going to achieve this and that. No, it wasn't on the table. And that's really important because there's a cold case detective who's turned a Christian years ago. And he said there are 3 reasons for someone to commit a crime. It's sex, money, and power. And the disciples had not got none of this. So they didn't get the honeys, they didn't get money, and they definitely didn't get more powerful. And I heard people saying that, yeah, the disciples started a new religion so they could be more powerful, but they were persecuted. They had to run, they were beaten to death, they were stoned, they were crucified, and they kept claiming that they saw the risen Christ. They never changed their mind. They never changed their story. They always said the same thing. And what would it take? I mean, I remember watching a documentary on suicide bombers, and they saying that people who are going into religious wars, for example, from here in the UK, for example, they don't do it because of conviction. They do it out of boredom, or they do it because they get paid, for example. But it's rarely about really about conviction. So, and that's if somebody dies, let's take a suicide bomber. So if somebody dies, they die believing something they got told that was going to happen. And even that is really difficult to do. But to have the courage to die for something you believe you saw. And I remember there's an atheist or a skeptic, call him a skeptic. And even he thought that the disciples must have been convinced that they saw the resurrected Christ because of the way they behaved. And there was a good film, it was a gangster film, and they said that the only way for 3 people to keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. And it's true. I read it somewhere that somebody said that the reason he believed the resurrection story to be true was he said if you take the Watergate event, for example, he said 12 people couldn't keep a secret for 2 weeks. And he said you had these 12 disciples, they were tortured, beaten, like I said, killed, stoned, and they kept maintaining their claim that they saw the resurrected Christ. So imagine, like, if you look at the events of the Gospels, these people were running scared. They didn't understand what sort of Messiah Jesus would be, because they accepted for him to be a political Messiah, so political deliverer, to deliver them from the authority of the Romans. But it didn't happen. So even if you would say that they're hallucinated, they never expected him to be resurrected. And as we talked about the resurrection, people are seeing things that are, not there, like hallucinating. You don't hallucinate things you don't expect. And I think that's a crucial thing to remember, that you only hallucinate the things you expect to happen, not things you have no idea would ever happen, let alone, 12 people saying, or 500 people, eyewitnesses saying the same thing. So I think the death of the disciples, I think to me, it's very convincing evidence that even if I was a non-believer, I would seriously think about this. Because again, where do you get that kind of conviction, especially 12 people, and no matter how hard they try to change your mind or to kill you and torture you, you never change your testimony. Think about it. Bye.